Guess what? Big changes are coming to the citizenship process. If you're applying for your naturalization, the immigration service can now come to your house, talk to your neighbors, and visit your job. What's changing and how it's going to impact you, all in this video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Immigration Channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a new policy starting right now, also known as neighborhood visits, where immigration is coming to your house, coming to talk to your neighbors, coming to your job to determine if you meet the moral character standard of US citizenship. Why is this happening? Well, there's a new policy that was just implemented. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about when it's going to be implemented, who is going to be impacted, how to prepare for it, and how immigration interviews for citizenship are going to change. So you want to watch this video all the way until the end so you don't miss any of my examples, my tips, and what you need to do to prepare for your interview in 2025. So let's understand what is this neighborhood visits all about and why it's happening right now. These also known neighborhood checks was a policy that USCIS used to use back in the 90s. They stopped it in 91. And for the past 30 plus years, they really never used it in that format. They've come to the house in green card cases, determined if there might have been fraud. We know about that. But in citizenship cases, this is something that we haven't seen, as I said, for almost 30 years plus. And now it's coming back under a new policy that was just released about a week ago. Why is it important for you to understand how to prepare for this and what it means when an immigration officer can invoke this? I'm going to explain to you right now in a few minutes, but let's talk about what this policy is all about. The new policy that was just introduced about a week ago. The policy came in a quick memo, a policy memo from USCIS dated August 22nd. And the gist of it says that USCIS now has the ability to talk to your neighbors, come to your house, come to your job, and interview people with specific questions that will determine if you are a person of good moral character. Now, this interview process, this idea will only happen if at the time of the interview, they're not going to have sufficient information, sufficient impression that you are a person of good moral character. So, what does it mean for you, the N400 applicant, somebody who is applying for citizenship right now, or your citizenship interview is about to happen in the next week, 2 or 3? What should you be doing to make sure, first of all, that this doesn't happen to you? And if it does happen to you, how can you prepare? Before I explain to you all the details, guys, I'll ask you one big favor. If you're watching my videos every single week, but you're not a subscriber, please click the notification bell so you don't miss my videos. And also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. As always, if you need help with your immigration matters, with your citizenship, with your green card, with your every case, send me a text 619-483-4549. The number is right here. Or go to www.immigrationasap.com. Leave your details, and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. And now let's go back into the video. So, what does it mean in practice? In practice, it means that the Immigration Service, USCIS officers will decide on a case by case basis if they should send somebody, an investigator from the HSI, Homeland Security investigators, to your home to speak to your neighbors, to go to your job, because they don't have enough information to determine if you meet the good moral character requirement. Now, in what cases could this happen? So the idea is that, say you go to your interview and maybe you had a DUI in the past. So maybe you had DUI and a few other things, or maybe something in the conversation came up and it says, well, I used to hang around with the wrong people and I got some citations. But on the surface, these incidents are not a bar for citizenship, right? So they're not criminal convictions that will bar you from getting your citizenship. But you have a few of those. Maybe you have too many speeding tickets and it looks like you're not paying your tickets on time. So this makes the officer think, listen, this person may not be somebody that meets the regular standard that we want to see people behave. And this, again, is a policy that they've changed about a month ago, where they are putting a strong emphasis on good moral character, which means that if you have multiple incidents of violations, say multiple speeding tickets. Per se, those speeding tickets are not a bar for citizenship, but the combination of them shows that you're not somebody that can be trusted. Maybe you're a reckless person, right? So if they feel that it's something that you have in your background and you didn't bring any evidence to counter that, they could invoke that and say, you know what, we cannot make a decision yet. Go home. We'll get back to you. And in the meantime, what they'll do, they'll send an HSI investigation to your neighborhood to speak with people that know you and say, hey, is really that reckless, or these are just some things that kind of happened? It wasn't his fault, right? So then they make a decision. So be mindful of that, because that is something that will be happening more and more at interviews, which means those interviews will be delayed. Your case will be sent for further review, and you're not going to get your citizenship approved for months and months and even years if those investigations will take time. Now, this thing, as I mentioned, 34 years ago was mandatory, and people had to get waivers to, not be subject to this. But now it's going to be on a case by case basis. Officers will decide who should be subject to these home visits, USCIS neighborhood checks. The problem is that officers now have a lot of discretion, but very little guidance. They don't really have clear instructions as to who should be getting those investigations and who shouldn't be. Is it going to be based on a hunch? Is it going to be based on what you say in the interview? It's really unclear right now. Therefore, preparation on your behalf is essential. And I'll tell you in a second what you have to do to be prepared. So, if you had any issues with immigration, obviously with the law, but even if you didn't, like I said, I gave you the example of speeding tickets because everybody had speeding tickets. I had clearly in my life. So if you had any issues, the recommendation now for interviews for citizenship is to bring with you in a folder recommendation letters, testimonials about your character. Maybe you are volunteering somewhere in the community, things to show what kind of person you are, based on what the neighbors say, your friends, family members, and bring those affidavits with you to the interview and submit it as part of your file. Because if you have enough of these documents, maybe the officer will be convinced that they don't need to send somebody to question your neighbors, your job, and it will obviously save time. Because even if you have nothing to hide, we're worried about the time that is lost from the time you finish the interview until they conclude their investigation. If you want to prevent that, come prepared with a packet specifically titled Good Moral Character, and you're going to have their statements, affidavits, any evidence you want to show that you are a person of good moral character. So remember, if you want to be prepared moving forward, every single interview that you're going to be attending for N400, you should come with as affidavits, testimonials, any supporting evidence to show that you are a person of good moral character. And that's actually going to save you so much time because, like I said, even if you have nothing to hide, if your case is good, just providing that will show the office, oh, that person clearly has nothing to hide. I will approve their case, and I'm not going to waste our agency's time to send somebody to investigate their home. But if you come with no evidence and there's confusion at the time of the interview, they might send somebody, and that's definitely going to delay your case. They really have less people now to do interviews. And if your case gets a request for evidence or sent for an investigation like that, it's definitely going to add at least 6 months to a year to your case. So, guys, moving forward, be mindful that every single N400 that is filed should be filed with a full packet to submit to explain how you are a person of good moral character to satisfy that angle, that part of the case. And at the interview itself, you're going to bring a similar packet that is going to be up to date, maybe up to 2 months before the interview, that you have evidence that you are somebody that has good moral character. If you have that, they probably won't initiate that investigation in your case, and your case will be adjudicated in 6 to 9 months, like most of our clients, and you'll be good to go. Once again, guys, if you need help with your immigration matter, send me a text 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationasap.com. Leave your details, and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. Stay safe, guys, out there. Stay informed. And if you do so, you will always get approved in your green card or your citizenship. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.